Hey guys, so you're on the fence about starting that food business. You're not really sure about what it might take to get one started. Well, I'm going to give you 6 questions you need to ask yourself before you even start in a food business here on Marketing Food Online. So as you heard in the intro, I'm going to give you 6 questions that you really need to sit down and ask yourself before you get into running a food business, whether it's on a small scale in a cottage food setting inside your home, or if it's potentially wanting to jump right into a commercial facility and you want to mass produce a food product. These are 6 questions that I kind of over the years have found myself wondering, you know what, these are the things I could have sat down and thought of before I started opening my business, and some questions that you really need to give yourself an opportunity to kind of evaluate about your personality and about what you're willing to put and what type of commitment you want to create for the food business. So the first one you want to do is you want to figure out the startup money. Okay, do you have a little bit of money set aside to create this food business? How much are you willing to invest of your actual owned funds that you really immediately have available on hand? I am going to give you my personal opinion about using credit cards to fund a business. From experience, I would highly recommend you not do that. Okay, it is always a good way if you wanted to, if you're getting a couple of orders of products such as bags, or if you're looking for ingredients and you charge a few things here and there. But if you're looking to fund the majority of your business itself with your own personal credit cards, you might want to think twice about that. I would highly recommend that you patiently sit down, go over your finances, see where you are, and see what kind of the first steps you can do to at least get the ball rolling. Remember that it's always good, I always say this in my videos, it's always a good thing to take small steps, but always think big. Now, the grandiose idea, of course, would be having your product, let's say, in retail stores across the country. Maybe it's going to be online. Maybe it's just with Amazon. Maybe it's your own e-commerce store. Wherever it may be, always take small incremental steps. There's nothing wrong with that. That is how we've grown to where we are now, and it's been in excess of about 10 years. And, of course, when you first start, you're not going to have all the questions answered. You need to ask as many questions as possible. Don't be afraid to ask if you don't know. That's the good thing, okay? The next thing is going to be the level of commitment. You got to figure out to what point are you willing to push yourself. If you work, let's say, a 9 to 5, or maybe you have a very busy week, you've got kids, you've got a busy family life, how much are you willing to commit to creating and developing your food product or a food business? You may even want to be opening a restaurant or something like a bakery. If you do that, you can still do that while you're working full-time, believe it or not, because that's how my wife and I actually opened our Italian bakery. Is we were still working at our retail jobs, and at night we would come to the shop, and I had a family member watch it during the day, and it was quite hectic and busy. It was something that eventually, one of the things had to give, and it was actually the retail job, obviously, and then we pursued our bakery full-time. But I was able to utilize and capitalize on a family who supported the idea, and I had family there to help us, and that is a good thing. So that's something else that you may want to evaluate. If you don't have the funds to pull out, obviously, a payroll right off the bat to pay people to help you, check and see what kind of family and friends are available who believe enough in your idea, who are there to help you and assist you. So determining that level of commitment, if you want to go into this part-time or full-time, is something you really need to ask yourself and figure out your schedule. Maybe you can move some things around that'll begin to free up a couple hours so you can begin the process to at least research your product, research licensing, research what you can do out of the house, what you can't do, maybe looking into a commercial kitchen, and take those steps little by little. Because trust me, no company and no corporation that is GE or is a huge conglomerate corporation, a global corporation, never started that way. It was always very small, and it just grew and grew and grew, okay? So the next thing is, you may have a lot of wonderful ideas for food products. You may have ideas that you want to take and you want to get them onto retail shelves, okay? But your ideas, they're going to be determined based upon, excuse me, what it would take to make that happen. So you got to figure that, kind of understand, maybe not from beginning to end, but because again, you're not going to have all the answers. But the product that you're interested in, that you want to bring to store shelves, figure out what it was going to take to get that to the store shelves. What's it going to take to get it online? What's it going to take it to get it into its final packaging, or whatever that goal is that you have in mind for your specific product? What is it going to take to make that happen? Now, the fourth thing is very, very important. The fourth thing is, if you don't have experience running a business, you need to do a little research on what it will take to actually operate a business. If you are wanting to start something from scratch and you are great at, let's say, baking the item, but you have no business experience, you're not familiar with running a small business, what is it going to take to do that? And I would highly recommend, in this case, reading up on a lot of entrepreneurial magazines, entrepreneurial books, stories about those who started businesses from scratch and from nothing, and then go from there. Learn as much as you can before you take those first few steps, making a commitment to getting licensing and to getting those things underway, okay? Okay, and then with the fourth one, it kind of goes into the fifth one, is the ideal size of your startup. You got to kind of sit down and determine, are you looking to have a couple of people on board? Are you going to have some part-time help? Maybe some family and friends can assist you with it. But how big is it that you want to start? If you're making just one product and you're looking to get it out there, that's always a good way to go, right? If maybe you have one product, but you've got 5 or 6 variations, that's a little bit of a bigger task. Not saying that it can't be done, but it's a little bigger of an undertaking than it would be if you just had one product, okay? So keep in mind the ideal size of where you want to at least take your first few steps, okay? And then, excuse me. And then the sixth and final one is you want to do a little bit of research on your demographic. Who is your ideal demographic? If you have a certain product, it could be a protein bar. This would be an easy way to understand the demographic for that type of product. If it was a protein bar or a health bar, obviously people who exercise, who enjoy healthy lifestyles, maybe people who work out at gyms. You could sell it to local gyms. You could literally shop it around and go to these places and say, look, I've created this product. I've got it. I'm in a commercial facility. I'd like to try it out. These are obviously the people who are easily understood for those people who would buy a protein bar. Now, if you're doing cookies or doing something that's kind of more broad, jams and jellies and preserves, find out who your demographic would be. A great way to test this out, and it works every time, is by going to farmers markets or festivals or fairs that are geared around food, okay? They could be a foodie event, or they could be a jazz fest or an art fest. Normally those types of festivals have, those types of events have a lot of those types of products, jams and jellies, preserves, crackers, locally made cheeses and that type. So go to them and basically kind of walk around and see who it is, see who are buying the products, and kind of understand what's at these festivals or these different events. So that makes your opportunity when you actually commit to getting a tent, setting up, and then being a part of that event, that would make it much more successful than it would be if you just kind of cold turkeyed it and you just went there, opened up a booth, and you're hoping to sell your jams and jellies, and you don't sell anything because you didn't do your homework, you didn't walk through it, maybe check out and see what was there, and maybe your product would be something that they haven't had and is missing out on, because they could have a wine festival, for instance, have cheese and crackers and vendors who makes all kinds of appetizers, but jellies and jams go great, believe it or not, with a lot of pairings when it comes to wines. So that would be a great event for your product. So of course that's an example, but doing a little bit of homework locally and kind of finding out who are the people who would buy my product. So when you understand your market, the specific customer base, your demographic, it makes your marketing technique and make your marketing much more effective when you go to certain events. Or if you're going online, you can then max out your SEO and make search engine optimization. You can make your listings, your websites, all based around the people that you know are going to buy your product. When it comes to social media, it's the same thing. Once you understand the demographic, you can begin to go into these different communities within Facebook, Google+. It helps you create better Twitter and Instagram accounts because then hashtags come into place, but you know the demographic and you know the right hashtags to attract those people. So just understanding your customer base. That is the sixth and final question. And of course, remember, you're not going to have answers to all of these things right off the bat, but keep pushing forward and keep making steps towards your final goal of whatever that may be. If it's producing a food product or maybe starting a food company that has a lot of products. But take a step every single day. The more questions you ask and the answers you get, that just means you're getting closer to your goal. So with that being said, I hope those 6 questions do give you an opportunity to sit down, get a notebook, and ask yourself those questions and figure out what are the best answers for your situation. Everybody is different. Your scenario is not the same as everyone else's. So focus on what it is that's going on in your life and what you can do with those hours that you can actually spend creating your food product. So I hope that helped it out. And if it did, as always, please do give me a big thumbs up. I appreciate you guys with your support. And if anyone that you know of can benefit from my videos and my channel, as always, please do let them know. and I will see you guys on the next video.